Hey guys, Emma here. I just plopped in 4 plants into the ground, all of them that I picked up from other places. So the last one that I planted was the oak leaf hydrangea, which is stunning. I have been wanting one of those for a while. It is the Queen of Hearts variety. This is from Rosso Nursery. That was down in Washington near SeaTac Airport. And I was down there a couple weeks ago. I picked that plant up and brought it back as my carry-on. I had to have it. It was a little bit big, but I actually named it Jenny Lauren after the 2 flight attendants who helped me take good care of it and get it back all the way to Sitka from Washington. So thank you to Jenny and Lauren from Alaska Air. You guys are awesome. Appreciate the assist, the plant assist. And then last weekend I went up to Homer, Alaska, which is kind of known as the city of peonies. And I went with a girlfriend and we had a girls' weekend and we toured peony farms and it was absolutely incredible. I will add some photos at the end of this video and videos of the trip that we took and all the beautiful peonies and farms that we got to look at. It was truly incredible, and I still have some flowers, some peonies blooming on my kitchen table right now that are just perfuming my whole house and smell so good. While I was down in Homer, we went to 2 local plant nurseries to actually help my friend do some gardening. And so we picked up a bunch of perennials for her house and we got them in the ground. That was really fun. And then I couldn't help myself, but I took home 3. So I just added right over here behind me, right over here, is the Coral Bells Hooka. And it is Ruby Tuesday variety. So I have a lot of Hooka. I have a lot of Hooka and Coral Bells throughout the garden, and I just absolutely love them. I think their foliage is stunning. They do put off little blooms, but honestly, like for Hookas and Coral Bells, like the blooms are not what do it for me. It is just the foliage. I actually have some other ones right here. This is another variety of Coral Bells Hooka. And see, you can see here, these are the bloom stalks that they put off. And so they're just kind of tall, lanky bloom stalks with little cute little dainty blooms on top. I really enjoy them. There's another really baby one right here, which has some kind of purple variation in the leaves. Way over there, I'll zoom in. That is like the lime punch or something lime hookas right there. These really bright ones. And I've got other ones scattered throughout here. I can't remember off the top of my head. I love them all. I just think they're stunning. So I couldn't help myself. I felt like this part of the garden needed some red pinkish tone, especially next to all these Brenneras and Lamium that have some silver foliage. And that's a red twig dogwood. So in the fall, those branches the stems are really red, but the foliage is very green and the blooms are kind of like a white pretty color, and then I just really love this red tone next to any kind of purple flower. So you can see the foxglove behind, these hardy geraniums up in front, and I just think that looks really nice. Up next, I planted a Himalayan blue poppy. Now there's 2 varieties of Himalayan blue poppies. There is like kind of a periwinkle blue one and then more of a teal blue. This is the periwinkle blue one, which I just couldn't help. I needed it so bad. There's actually 2 people in Sitka, one of them a good friend of mine, and then one of them my neighbor who has some. I had collected one of the seed heads and I was going to dry it and try to grow and germinate the seed for myself. I have heard that Himalayan poppies are hard to germinate, and there's just a more difficult one. So this is sun to parchage, so that's why I put it right here in our garden. It is rare that you get true blue things, you know, a lot of things people say blue in the garden is like purple, but this is actually a true blue poppy, and they do well in Sitka, so I'm really excited about that one. But that is that plant right there in front of some of these hydrangeas, and azalea will be really pretty. And then I had one more plant that I popped in the ground, which looks like it's struggling a little bit. I had to pluck off quite a bit of dried leaves, but I think the roots were established enough that it will survive. It just needs some time. I really wanted to get it in the ground, so we got that in the ground today, and that is it's another type of hardy geranium. It's cranesbill, and it is a dark reeter. So you can see that the leaves are very dark green reddish. Now, again, I had to pluck off quite a few that were not looking good, but like this is what the leaf structure looks like. And then they put off these purple blooms, which I just think is going to be so cute. And again, I love red foliage. There is some fresh new baby leaves down here, so I think this plant will be fine once it establishes in the ground. But other than the fact that this entire bed hasn't been mulched yet, and I put it in last fall, but the hydrangeas will be really pretty, and then having some red foliage that'll kind of puff up and fill up that space will be really nice. Okay, so we got those in the ground, and very excited about that. But today's project is actually more planting of iris. I almost forgot to mention that I also planted a peony. This peony is a white one. It's called Gardinia. It's planted right there in the dirt. Doesn't look like much. It was a root. These instructions were given to me from Alaska Perfect Peonies. This is one of the farms that we toured, and as part of the cost of our tour, they provided us with a root to take home. So I took home the Gardinia variety. I think my friend that I went with took home some type of red variety. Can't remember what it was called. They give you really nice instructions on how to troubleshoot if it's not blooming, how to plant it properly, all that kind of thing. So I plopped that one down in the ground. Hopefully I did it correctly according to the instructions, which I did check before planting. And I just put that tag in the ground so that I can remember that the peony root is there. So I will come back and water these all in. What I'm going to be planting today though, and I'm excited to share with you, is the irises that I got in the mail just yesterday from Mid-America Gardens. So I had watched a video from Flora at Flower Farm, and I had posted a video a couple weeks ago of me planting irises that was from Shriner Gardens in Oregon, and also shared by Flora at Flower Farm was a video and information on Mid-America Gardens, also located in Oregon, in Salem. She toured their place and it looked absolutely amazing. And of course I couldn't help myself, so I ordered a few varieties of irises different from the ones that I ordered from Shriner. So I'm going to unbox them with you and show you what I got. Okay, so the 3 iris varieties that I ordered was Blackberry, Slushie, Cranberry, Spritzer, and Double Jeopardy. Very excited about that. It looks like there was 4 that I ordered, and one they were out of stock on, but I don't know which one that is. Okay, so again, just like the Shriners Gardens, they have it down pat for mailing. Nice airflow, really nice compostable bedding. Let's see here. Individually separated, just like the other one, and one individual rhizome, and you can see some nice dried roots, some pretty greenery. This is the Cranberry Spritzer. It doesn't provide information on this tag, but I can see just by the size of this rhizome that this is going to be one of those taller, probably 36 to 38 inch ones, or maybe even 40 inch tall. Good looking iris, very healthy. Also in this box we have Blackberry Slushie. It's a little bit smaller than the Cranberry Spritzer, so maybe it's like 24, 28 inch variety. I'll have to link down in the description below of this video a link to Mid-America Gardens and the varieties that I chose. And then the last one, a little bit larger, is Double Jeopardy. So that is the 3 varieties that we have to plant today. And we need to find a spot, which is honestly the hardest part because this garden is really starting to fill out. Most of this garden bed back here is part sun, part shade. You can see there's a little bit of tree cover, but there's also a lot of light. So this is kind of like an in-between, not really true full sun. This primarily is relatively shaded. And then over here, a little bit sunnier, a little bit more light from above. There's kind of a gap here, but then this half is primarily pretty shaded by the trees. So I'm not sure this is an appropriate spot. This spot might be good next to these bachelor buttons. What if I just dug out this little patch right here and plopped those 3 irises right there? Because we planted the ones from Shriner Gardens on the other side of these garden beds right there, and then we planted some on the other side of the garlic right over there. So I think this actually might be a good spot. Just protected right in that nook. We're going to put them right next to this drainage pipe on the side of our house. Cut out this little spot, put 3 of them in. Let's do it. Here are our 3 irises from Mid-America Gardens. Now, the one thing I will say is that although these were packaged beautifully and the actual product themselves looks great, they did not provide awesome instructional packets like Shriners Gardens did, which is honestly, I really appreciated that because I'm not an iris farmer or gardener. I have never planted iris up until this year, so I'm really excited to add that to my garden. I do have a few, but they were here from before when we bought this house. I will link in the description down below the video that I did from Shriners Gardens iris planting just a couple weeks ago, so you guys can watch it if you want more instructional content on how to plant irises. Basically, you just want to be mindful of the depth in which you plant them, because you don't want the crown to be, the rhizome to be too deep in the soil, so you want to keep them relatively elevated. But I am just really excited to add those to the garden. I think it'll be an interesting experiment to compare them, even though they're different varieties, to the growth of the ones from Shriners Gardens, and they're both from Oregon, so kind of fun. That is all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we will see you later.